What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Red Summit 24. We're here for our 24th episode of Bulls Without Borders. I'm here with the OG3, the three men who started it all. Three continents, one love, the Chicago Bulls, man. To my right, I've got Australia's own Troy. He is the front man of the Whole Lotta Bull podcast. How are you doing, Troy?
I'm good, brother. Just back making some content for Whole Lotta Bull again this last week. So it could be good to be back behind the mic, other than being obviously with my brothers here. But no, doing well. How about you guys?
I'm living the dream, man. I'm living the dream. Neill, Ireland's own. How you doing, Neill?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm glad to not have a paintbrush in my hand. I've been painting the house for the last 4 or 5 days, so it's nice to just sit down and sit behind the mic.
I bet, man. That's some hard work, bro. So it wasn't an eventful week of Bulls basketball, so we'll see how long this episode is. It might be shorter compared to our normal episodes, but we'll see. We're going to talk ball, and we'll see where it lands. But, I guess at the top of this episode, we'll give quick thoughts on 2 hirings. We hired a senior vice president of basketball operations, which I guess is underneath the executive, which is confusing a little bit to me. But whatever. And that was Stephen Mervis, and then we had what was his name? I guess director of player personnel or something like that. Okay, and that is AC Law the fourth, former Chicago Bull, also Connecticut Husky, if my memory serves correctly. I don't really have any thoughts on this other than they seem like they're solid fits for the job. Do you boys have any thoughts on this, or is it just kind of like business as usual, Troy?
Man, well, it's good. Now, obviously, Stephen Mervis, I think while it's not the title of general manager, I think that may be the role that he's got in the front office. Like, who knows? But yeah, I'm not going to pretend to know anything about either Mervis or Law. I think Mervis spent 12 years with the Orlando Magic. Apparently, he's a salary cap genius or something.
Wizard.
Salary cap wizard. With AC Law, he's obviously spent some time, like we all, remember he spent a year with the Chicago Bulls as a player. Spent some time with Oklahoma City Thunder, so he would have learned some good stuff there. Spent last year with Brooklyn, or this season with Brooklyn. And but other than that, I don't know diddly fucking squat about these blokes. So, hey, welcome to Chicago, or in AC Law's case, welcome back.
Yeah, let's hope his stint is a little bit longer this time than the last one.
Yeah, ideally that would definitely be the case, right?
I think it was like 12 games or something he played. But
those were 12 games of fucking pure awesomeness, man. He's a goddamn legend.
But you know what? He obviously had some sort of an impact, because straight away, as soon as his name came out, everybody was like, didn't he used to play for the Bulls? Everybody kind of jumped on it straight away. So I don't know whether it is his name that's memorable or whether he actually did something memorable on the floor.
It's the name. Like even I remember the name going, like, I saw my AC Law, isn't it our next player?
Yeah. It sounds like he should be a cop, if I'm being honest with you. Like, that's like the baddest cop in the whole realm, dude. Like, you don't mess with AC Law, he'll fucking throw your ass behind bars.
Try to tell me he's not above the law. Like, I am the law, bitch.
There you go. It writes itself.
I am the law. Yeah, I know, man. It's a shame he wasn't better in the NBA. He could have made a whole brand out of that. But, so besides that, we can't talk about is what everybody else is talking about in Bulls Nation over the past week, and that that's what are we gonna do at number 4? And it's kind of funny because I have some thoughts on the discourse, but you see a lot of people talking about this guy versus that guy and whatnot, and it's kind of just funny because we don't get to choose it all.
We're basically left with like the consensus top 4. Like, we're left with whoever's left out of the top 4. But at the end of the day, regardless of who we prefer, I mean, okay, my jumper might give away who I prefer at the number 4 pick, but at the end of the day, if it's Cameron Boozer, we're going to end up with a star, like a future star of our franchise. So, You take whoever's left and you run away happy. It's what we do at number 15 that really is really going to matter.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's true. I mean, like, there's been many a year where we'd only have a pick around 15 anyway, and that would be our sole pick. So to have a 4 and then a 15 as well, the 4 kind of more or less writes itself. Like you say, it's a 4-player top end draft, right, or tier draft, 4 players. We've got the 4th pick. So basically, it's almost a brainless choice, really, because it's whichever one of the 4 is left is the one that the Bulls will take. And whichever one of the 4 that is left that the Bulls take has got a great chance to be a franchise-changing player. So it's all good. It doesn't matter who it ends up being, whether it's Cam Boozer, Darryn Peterson, Caleb Wilson. I don't think it's going to be AJ, but it won't matter. It will be a good move either way. But 15 is where it gets really interesting, because that's where you need to see some real business chops coming out from Bryson.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I think it's really safe to say that AJ Dybantsa is not going to be there, because there's no chance in hell he ever gets past Utah. Like, there's like a 100% chance, because he wants to be there. They already reported that he is preferring to, like, he wants to stay in Utah because he went to college at BYU, which is in Utah. So they're in a really unique position where, for the first time, I think ever, a player is fucking wants to be a Jazz player. So,
which is interesting, though. Isn't he originally from Boston? So wouldn't he want to be closer to home?
Yeah, I don't know, man. He must really enjoy it there at BYU. If the reports are to be believed, this guy is asking, like, he wants to be in Utah. He prefers to be in Utah. It kind of feels like he's trying to make it happen. Like, I don't know if Utah is going to trade up to 1. I know that Washington signaled they were available for business. But, I guess it's a good thing we didn't get 1 then, if he's going to be like that. I'm not too shaken up about it, I guess. But I guess if you're going to get a good return for the trade.
Yeah, and that's Danny Ainge, though, like, I don't never trade with Danny Ainge, because, like, he's not just going to win the trade, regardless, even if he's the one that's trading up. He's going to take your kidney. He's going to take your firstborn. He's going to take your grandchild's firstborn. Like, he will rob the shit out of you. So that's what Danny Ainge is like. So don't trade with Utah.
Yeah, yeah. That's the scariest thing about trying to acquire Kessler, is, like, I don't know. Like, I guess if it's in restricted free agency, it's simply just money. But if you were, like, if, like, they were going to do a sign and trade, it's like, okay, buddy, I don't know how this is going to go. Like, dealing with Danny Ainge, you're dealing with a suave executive there. So,
ruthless.
Yeah. I'm oh yeah, look, there he is. Yeah, I'm interested in that too. But see, I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping that Utah was going to end up with one of Boozer or Wilson, only because I thought that would force Kessler out almost assuredly. I thought we could slide in there and get him. But if they end up with Dybantsa, then that maybe changes things. There's a world where we end up with Darryn Peterson. I guess we'll start there. We're going to talk about all 3 prospects on this episode. But I want to start with Darryn Peterson, because there's a lot. That's maybe the most interesting one, only because it's being talked about the least. And I've seen people saying, like, that they don't want him at all. So, like, if Cam Boozer and Caleb Wilson were to be gone, they'd rather draft someone else. So I guess we'll start with that. Would you want Darryn Peterson? And we'll start with you, Troy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if Darryn Peterson's there at number 4, you take him. Like, kid, by all accounts, going to be an absolute 2-way stud. It's been very well known that he's had some health issues throughout the season with cramping and stuff. I mean, as we spoke about last week, it appears that maybe they've got it sorted out and discovered what's been causing it, and it's pretty much ODing on creatine. So hopefully now he's got these cramping issues sorted out. If he's there at number 4, you take him. Like, it's not, oh, we'll just skip him and go to like Darius Acuff or a Keaton Wagler. It's no, if Darryn Peterson is there at 4, you take him. Like, no questions asked as far as I'm concerned.
Neill, what do you think?
Yeah, I think like we said, it's a top tier 4-player draft. Whichever one of the 4 players is there, you have to take him. I know there's been questions about Darryn Peterson and his attitude and his I don't know, his drive, I guess, in a way, to want to play. But I think it's been sensationalized, to be honest with you. I don't think it's as bad as it's being made out to be. And this guy is talented, man. You've got to pick him up if he's there. You've got to pick him up if he's there.
Yeah, and Anthony Edwards' attitude was questioned as well when he was going through the draft process. Look how he's turned out. The guy's an absolute star. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Darryn Peterson's a hell of a talent, dude. You pass on to him, man. That's a move that gets people fired. Like, because he could definitely be an all-pro guard in the future. He's got all the talent in the world. I actually think his college film is almost limited too as to what he can actually do because he was hurt all year. So I don't even know if we got to see what he's like at full potential. So I think that you got to take him. I did see a report that he does fancy himself as a point guard. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like there's room on this team for both him and Giddey. Or I guess if you have to trade Giddey, like I said all along, it's just you got to get the right package. But either way, you got to take Darryn Peterson. What I like about him the most is he's already a great shooter. Like that's where he did a lot at Kansas. He was filling it up from all over the court. And contrary to, I think some people think he's not a good defender. He's a solid defender. I liked what I watched when I was watching him. What do you guys like most about Peterson? Neill?
I like the way he's able to shoot the ball, the way he's got great control of the ball, he can attack the rim. I just think he's an all-round decent player. He has defensive chops as well, from what I can see from him, from anything I've watched. I just think if he's in the right environment, he's going to thrive in the NBA scene if he has the right mentors around him. And like I say, I really do think that it's been sensationalized about his attitude and all that.
Troy?
Yeah, like what in the limited stuff I've seen of Darryn Peterson, because like it's kind of one of those things that he's not going to be there where we pick. Like he's going to go 1 or 2. Let's just be honest about that one. We're going to be left with either Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson. But the whole questions about his defense is like, what? Go watch the tape. Like this kid is an elite perimeter defender and is going to be an elite perimeter defender in this league. He's going to be probably one of the better two-way players in the league. He's got almost a 7-foot wingspan at 6'6" or something like that. So
yeah, I think it was 6'10". I don't know. I have to double check after the combine, but yeah, I've got no. It's like 6'9.75". Still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So. If DP is there, you take him. Like it's simple as that. It's if people want to question it, then I have to question them.
I know some people were. I agree that he's going to be gone. Because there was, I'm going through these guys, watching various videos, different films, highlights. Watch a couple games. I know one guy, Derek Parker, specifically said that he thought that there's a strong argument that Peterson should go 1. But there's people that, and I guess they're fans. So, who knows, like their opinion, how much does it matter? But they thought that Peterson after the combine was clearly number 4. Like far and away number 4 best player in this draft. So there's, that's who we're going to get left with. I thought that was just a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah. Peterson, even being left with,
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got no problem with being left with Darryn Peterson.
Yeah. If that played out, that could totally be like I'm not saying he would be as good as him, but like Michael Jordan, he wasn't supposed to be a Bull. Like everyone thought he was going to be. I can't remember. It was what was it? A
Sam
Rocket?
Bowie, number 2. Yeah. No,
somewhere.
Akeem was picked at 1, wasn't he?
Yes,
Hakeem was number 1 at Houston.
Akeem
Sam
was number
Bowie
1.
was
Sam
number
Bowie
2
was
at
at
Portland.
2.
He thought
then
for sure
Michael
he
at
was supposed
3.
to go second.
2,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And for Paddy, who's watching in the comments at the moment, well, he hasn't made a comment in a bit. Maybe he's fallen back asleep, you lazy bastard. But as a Portland fan, we know that probably still stings him a little bit. But I think Paddy actually would have taken Charles Barkley himself back then because they had Clyde. But it took Sam Bowie.
Yeah.
I mean,
all
you could have
time.
gone wrong with Barkley, but Sam Bowie was a mistake.
Yeah, man, they'll never live that down. And Matt, that's awful. I mean, so to answer you here though, Rob, I don't think so. The Kessler move, we're not going to know about that until after the draft. So, free agency comes after the draft, correct?
Yeah.
So
free agency starts July 1st.
That's the only thing is, yeah, like, well, you can't really make you shouldn't go into the draft making assumptions about what you might do in free agency. You got because you don't know, especially if they're or restricted, like Kessler. We don't know if we're going to get them.
And I know we're going to talk about what the Bulls do at number 15 a little bit later, but like if you walk away with a person like Chris Sinak Jr. or a Jaden Quintus or Quintus, whatever his last name is, that alters what you do in free agency.
It does.
Yes.
Well, potentially it does anyway.
Yeah, totally. But to go back to the 2 most popular players in the room, I agree that Peterson is probably in my opinion, the second best prospect in this draft. I do, as much as I don't know, I feel like an idiot because I just said that he's the second best prospect in the draft, but I want Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson. I don't know why. I just think it's because I'm so starved for a front court star. Like we need it, and that's not. I guess that's a shot at Vooch, but not only a front court star, but a front court star that could really play defense, and that's why I want Caleb Wilson so bad. Like I feel like he's a perfect complement to Matas Buzelis. I feel like I know that he's raw offensively, and I gotta say, like Boozer, like I've come around a lot more on him. Like I don't watch a ton of college ball during the season, but like after the season, obviously leading up in the draft, like I get into it heavy, and Boozer's really, really fucking good, man. Really, really, really good player. But there's something about Caleb Wilson, man. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Kevin Garnett as a prospect. Intensity like crazy. I just love his mindset, and I just feel like he fits perfectly. I guess so. We'll start with like which player do you like? I guess we won't waste time. Are we all team Caleb Wilson here, or Neil? I know you are, Troy, but Neil, how you feel about that?
Yeah. See, I mean, it's you won't get this now, but there was an advert in over here where they talked about daddy or chips, like what little girl and she's eating chips. And she's like, oh, what do you prefer, daddy or chips? And she's like, daddy or chips, daddy or chips. And dad comes along and takes one of her chips and she goes, chips. But it's one of those situations for me. I'd be happy either way. I really would. I really like Caleb Wilson. I really like his game and what he brings. But I've liked Cam Boozer from the start. And, and I've been joking about getting another jersey with Boozer written on the back. But I do. And the more I've done a dive on Cam Boozer, the more I've liked about him. I mean, the dude is a winner. We've talked about not having players with a winning mentality in Chicago for so long. Cam Boozer has that. Do you know? And in his interview in the Combine, he said, now I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along the lines of, if you want to hang another banner up in the rafters, I'm the guy. I'll get you a championship. And I love that kind of confidence. And he does. He's won at all levels. So apart from obviously the big boy league. So who knows? Maybe he could do that for Chicago if he comes here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm higher on Booster than I was at the end of the college season. He shot lights out in that fucking shooting drill at the combine. Holy hell, man! The dude was just lighting it up. I know he's got great passing ability. I know he was a solid defender at the college level, but he's just not like, I don't see him being like a defensive playmaker though, and that's what I see from Caleb Wilson. That's why I like him so much. Is I feel like, dude, the amount of like the block party the Bulls could have if they were to get Caleb Wilson and Walker Kessler would be insane. Next to Matas, that'd be like you could have 3 top 10 shot blockers in your lineup potentially.
Yeah.
And that's insane. Like the defense in Chicago would turn around overnight.
Totally.
But man, Cam Boozer is extremely good. I don't want to sit up here and like, there's people who have run him down. Have talked about, like, I've seen it for all 3 prospects. Different people saying that they would be disappointed if they'd be left with any of them. Like, I made a video on it on Chicago Bulls Breeze. Dude, disappointment shouldn't be in our vocabulary.
No. A week ago, we weren't even drafting close to 4.
Yeah, it was supposed to be number 9.
So,
Yes.
To jump 5 spots, that's potentially 5 better choices that you have that you didn't have last week. How is that a disappointment? That can't be a disappointment. It's far from it, especially to get the 4th pick in what is being classed as a 4-player top-tier draft. I mean, you can't lose. Whoever you get, you can't lose. You're going to be a better team for whoever you get.
Facts. And like I said in my video, like, even if we I'm going to throw this out there. Like, even if we went with Acuff or Wagler, I don't think Acuff is a bull. I don't think that we should be going for him. I don't think I seen Jay Billis is super high on him. Some other people are. I'm of course a fan of Giddey, and I see Darryn Peterson as a much better complement and a guard to pair with Giddey than Acuff. Because Darryn Peterson is more of a shooting guard. Like, I gotta admit, I gotta do more homework on Acuff, but I just don't see it yet. But even if we drafted one of those guys, what I do know is that they wouldn't have been there at number 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, no matter what, you're drafting a guy that you couldn't have drafted if you didn't jump up. And that's the whole point, right? And then you got to be right. If you're Bryson Graham, like, if you do that, you better be correct. Like, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Like, if
Facts.
you take Wagler for example, and he's not better than whoever you passed on at 4, that's gonna look bad.
I mean, like, when these people talk about Darius Acuff, or when you got someone like Steph No, who was on, I think he was on CHGO, talking about Darius Acuff is the worst defender he's ever seen. And people want to get mad about Josh Giddey's defense. Well, if Darius Acuff is as bad on defense as what Steph No is saying, then why the hell would you want this guy, especially when these people bitch and complain about Josh Giddey's defense? If Darius Acuff is worse on defense, why the hell, regardless of what he can do offensively, why the hell would you want him if his defense is that bad? Like, if it's that bad.
But is it that bad all the time? Because from what I can make out, he goes in swings and roundabouts. He can play well defensively, or he can play shocking defensively. And, its consistency seems to be the problem with it. More than
I gotta admit that I haven't watched him enough to know.
But I can't really comment about Acuff's defense because I haven't watched him play. So I'm not going to turn around and say, yeah, Steph knows right. But
yeah,
I'm just like going along with, if Steph is correct, then why would we want him?
And that's fair. Like, I mean, so I've done a bit of a dive on Acuff. I haven't done the video on him yet, but like, he is an incredibly creative scorer. he's going to be up there with one of the most creative in the draft. He can score from any kind of situation really, and find a way to get a good shot. He's got quick hands, active feet. He's got good energy. But like I say, on the defense, it's like sometimes he switches off or something. He's just not always engaged, and that's something that may not ever get fixed, or it could, and then he could end up being a competent defender. Look, like we've said before, once you get past the first four anyway, it starts to become a crapshoot. It becomes like, it's still an educated guess, but it's still guesswork all the same.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that I know that he's better, but like that draft, like that profile that you described, it just reminds me of Dillingham.
Dildo Baggins.
Like a better Dillingham. Is that what he is?
I guess, but with a bit more length to him, yeah. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just like undersized but quick, all offensive. Yeah. Not much there defensively.
I'd say that's a bit harsh. I think he's got a bit more about him defensively. I think he's getting a bit of a bad rap on the defensive end. I don't think he's as bad as he's being made out to be, but he is lacking defensively. But
Fair enough.
Not as much as I think he's getting.
Fair enough. And Pad says that Steph Noah is not correct, so that does sound like a very extreme judgment to say he's the worst defender you've ever seen.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
and
dude.
Pads watch. Yeah,
It's
Pads
a bit
watches a lot
hyperbolic.
of college hoops. So if Pads is saying that Steph knows wrong, I'm going to take Pads' word for it.
That's a really extreme judgment, bro. Like,
at you,
there's
Pads.
some really bad defenders, and like, I don't know. And just to kind of stop real quick and backtrack a little bit, you mentioned Giddey. I want to say something on camera. Josh Giddey's lack of defensive skill is overstated. Like, he's not good. Like, good. I won't even say he's good. But people make him seem like he's a turnstile. Like he's not giving effort out there. Like, the effort's there. The defensive analytics actually says that he's like slightly below average. And that's okay. Like, people act like he's Yuki. Like, no hate towards Yuki, but like, it's just kind of crazy how much Josh's negatives get just focused on and blown up. He's like the one player I've never seen a player get so much shit for not being perfect. Like, what basketball player is perfect? Everyone's got like holes in their game. Very few are just flawless. Are Kobe or Michael.
Guess what? Even Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, had a flaw in his game. It was his 3-point shot.
Yeah. I mean,
mind you, it wasn't really a relevant shot back then. So if it was, Michael would have worked on it and he would have been a killer. But
fact,
Yeah.
Do
Exactly.
you think if the game was played back then like it is today with the reliance on the 3-point shot, that Michael Jordan wouldn't have pushed himself to be the best 3-point shooter in the league?
Absolutely.
He would have.
I truly wish that we could somehow plug Michael in on a real simulation and let people just see, like, he would average 50 today. In like 1987, Michael Jordan would be unbelievable.
Yeah. Yep.
Can you imagine, like, we do get, like, when it comes and still staying on the Giddey discussion, like pairing him up with Caleb Wilson?
Yeah,
that would be great.
I think it'd be fantastic. I mean, you can just see it now. The rim running, it would be incredible. The lobs would be incredible.
That's why
it would be.
That's why I tend to just. I know when I talk about his fit alongside the other players of this team, I tend to get pushback because people don't think that this team is going to stick together, like that Bryson Graham's going to blow it up. But I
don't think
just
that's
think
going to happen straight away.
Yeah, for now, I got to assume, and I'm going to talk as if Giddey and Buzelis are going to be here because it's not that way. Like, we haven't traded them yet. So for now, I'm going to talk about their fits. And I think Caleb Wilson is the best fit alongside Buzelis and Giddey out of the top four. And that's actually including Dybantsa. I just think that the fit, like what Caleb Wilson brings and what he adds, is the perfect complement to Josh Giddey. Now, I would still take Dybantsa number one over anybody, but just as far as how Giddey will fit, like you said, the rim running, and then what he's exactly what you need defensively to aid Modest. Now Modest can take the less athletic forward in every matchup. It takes a little bit of pressure off of him. And Matas actually proved he was a pretty good defender last year. He was top notch at defending isolation basketball, and he was a top 10 shot blocker. I mean, boom, end of story.
Wasn't Martis opponent's field goal percentage probably the base? I think it was minimum shots or something, but wasn't the efficiency that Martis gave up the best in the league, in terms of
on isolations? Yes.
Yeah, on that.
Yeah, he gave up less points per isolation than any player in the league. I know it was like that for most of it. I don't know. I'm not sure if he ended the year that way. I know it was that way the whole time.
At one point in the thing, yeah.
Yeah. But I love, as much as Cam Boozer, dude, he would probably fill it up. But, I just think that would be a little bit more of a work in progress to see him fit alongside Matas and Giddey, only because he's more of a traditional. He is a lot more athletic than his old man, though. I think that is something I was wrong about he has more. He's more of a 3-level scorer than his pops as well.
Absolutely.
I didn't know how. I knew he was a good shooter. I didn't realize how good until he did that combine drill. And he really he shot the lights out.
He's the most NBA ready of the top 4 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is going to walk straight into the NBA and fit in straight away, no matter where he goes.
Yes, I'm. Dude, we're so lucky, dude. And that's the craziest part. Is I'm selling Boozer. We're selling Peterson. But I'm not going to be sad if those guys go, because then we'll be left with Caleb Wilson, who might need more work off the bat. It's actually probably not unfair to say that out of the 4, he's the least ready. His.
Bill, sorry, can I interrupt? Because there's been a comment made, and I need to bring. What the fuck? Seriously,
brother?
Would you trade the 2 first-round picks and P. Will for Giannis Antetokounmpo? What? You want to trade 2 first-round picks, guys that are going to be part of this, could be part of this franchise for the next 10+ years, for a guy who may only have a couple, less than 5 years left in his career? Really? Come on.
I know how much Bulls Nation wants Giannis on their team, but this is not the way. You gotta
get rid of P. Will's contract too. There, no, not selling it. No,
you sit his ass on the bench, man. He's not hurting us that bad. People act like he's killing us a lot. He's really not. I mean, sit him on the bench. 19 mil a year isn't hurting anybody, to be honest with you. It's a small portion of the cap. It's not even half of a max contract.
And do you think that the next coach under the new regime here is gonna give him as many minutes as he was getting under AK and Billy? I really don't see it. I really don't either.
He'll have to earn it, and I just don't see him being able to do that. Although Patrick Williams does come across like a practice player to me. Like one of those guys where when he's in practice, he's just dominant. Then you go out on the floor and you're not, and you just don't get it ever. I knew guys like that. I was actually the opposite when I played. I practiced like shit, but on game day, man, I'd kill it. But I was not a practice player at all. Practice.
We talking about practice?
But yeah, man. I mean, just what a lucky position we're in, guys. I mean,
big time.
So grateful. Have you guys done any work on curious just on native Ment?
No.
We're not going to get him, but only because we're going to take someone else at 4. But if there was one guy that I could see like an out of nowhere, like, whoa, someone just took him that high guy. He's it, in my opinion. He's a 6'10" small forward, and he like averaged, I think, 19 points a game for the Volunteers. He's a 3-level scorer with some definite defensive potential. He could be a star. He has like the build, and he plays in a way that he could be a star. But he was definitely hot. He was hot and cold in Tennessee. There was like he started like a stretch where he was averaging like 17. Then for like the next 8, he averaged 12. But then for like the next 10, he averaged 20. So he's a mixed bag. But then in the tournament, he had like a few awful games where he didn't even show up. Then another game where he totally killed the other team. He's one of those guys. But the potential is there. Like if we were at 9, I'd be hoping for him. For sure.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to have to shoot off here. Great talking to you as always, and I'll catch up with you a little bit later, okay?
All right, big guy.
You
Peace.
take care, man.
But yeah, I mean, so yeah, Pads isn't a big fan. Wait, Clippers send to Coach Darius Acuff, and I don't know what this means.
Basically, we swap pick 4 and 5, and we get Brad. Yeah, no. Nope.
I actually seen somebody. Yeah, I seen somebody post about this on Twitter. I'm not moving down. There's no universe, no universe in the world. Do I want to move down from 4? Because you're giving up on one of those top 4 guys. That's such an AK move. It's like something he would do, and we would all be like, "What the fuck? Like, why'd you pass up on that guy?" You know?
Yeah. If there's any trade I'm making from the top 4 from that number 4 pick, it's to move up, not move down.
Would you do 15 and 4 for number 1? Is it worth it to you?
Man, I love AJ Dybantsa. I do. I think that kid is going to be a potential all-timer in this league. I've said this on the show before. I think this kid has the potential to be one of the all-time greats. But that being said, who you get at number 4 is still going to be a star, potentially a superstar in this league, whether it be Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson. Plus, you got number 15. You've got the potential to, and we've got Myers, we got Josh here. You get those, you can't get number 4 wrong, but you get the pick right at number 15. You're setting up your franchise for the next 10 plus years. So I'm not going to trade 4 and 15 for number 1 to get AJ Dybantsa. As much as I want that kid in Chicago, I'm not trading 4 and 15 to get him.
I agree, man. I just think that with the talent in this draft, there's no need for it, right? Like, It very well, whoever we get at 4, as long as we take one of those 4 guys, they could end up better than Dybantsa.
They could, and that's the thing with the lottery. Okay, with the actual draft lottery itself, it's a lottery on where you're going to end up. But then it's the draft itself is a lottery because as much as these top 4 guys, we can say that AJ Dybantsa is probably the clear cut number 1 pick in this draft. Caleb Wilson may end up being the best player in this draft. Darryn Peterson may end up being the best player in this draft. Cameron Boozer may end up being the best player in this draft. We just don't know yet. We're basing things on what we see at the moment. How these kids' careers are going to play out, we don't know. That's a lottery at the moment in itself. So, we can only see what their future holds. And, any of these guys can end up being the next Kwame Brown too.
Oh, let's not do that. You're not allowed to say that. Knock on some wood, dude. Knock on some wood. Yeah, dude. I'm very much hoping that that's not the case. I guess that is I feel like Caleb Wilson's ceiling is higher than perhaps maybe not Dybantsa, but I think Caleb Wilson has like the second highest ceiling in this draft. But he also
Yeah,
maybe has the lowest floor out of the four. What do you think about that? Maybe Peterson. I don't know.
Yeah, I would definitely say I think Caleb is the most raw of the four prospects. So yeah, I'll agree that he's got the lowest floor, but he's definitely I'm gonna agree as well. He's got probably the second highest ceiling on him. Like I've been saying since the first time I watched Caleb Wilson play, that kid has got some Kevin Garnett about him. Like the moment I saw that kid play, I watched his attitude. I mean, that first game against Duke this year, and watching the pregame, that look in his eye, I'm like, oh, this is Kevin Garnett reincarnated. Like,
yes,
that's how much what I think of this kid. And you watch his game, you watch you watch how he attacks the basket. His body movement, the mid range jumper, the turnaround. While he's not a great 3-point shooter by any stretch, the fact that he can get out there and shoot the three. This kid is Kevin Garnett. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be as good. Let me just make that perfectly clear. I'm not going to say he's going to be as good as Kevin Garnett.
I'm just kidding.
But he's got the archetype of Kevin Garnett. Like he's got that killer mindset of a Kevin Garnett where he wants to go out and destroy everyone. So, man, I love Caleb Wilson, and what can I say? Carolina.
I hope he falls, dude. It's so hard to imagine. But then I think that about the other guys. I'll tell you what, man. I don't envy the people who pick second and third in this draft. I actually do think that Utah is going to end up moving up somehow, some way, to be number one. I think they end up with AJ Dybantsa. I feel like Utah, if you are Utah, you have to do anything you can to try and get him, because this is actually a young potential star that actually wants to be there.
Yeah.
Usually
people want to be in Utah, then Utah's going to go get him.
Yeah, because most of the time people want to leave.
Yeah,
so
I would.
Yeah, it's nothing to write home about for me. So like,
if Utah had the number one pick and I'm the number one prospect in the draft, I'm saying please don't draft me.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't want to go to Washington either, but
but at least Washington has internet.
Yeah, I don't envy his potential draft prospects. I feel like all four of these guys are maybe secretly hoping that they fall to 4. Maybe not AJ. AJ wants to be in Utah.
Fall to number 4.
I think he wants to be in Utah, but the other three, I think, are definitely somewhat praying that they end up in Chicago. I mean, we jumped up, right? I mean,
and it's the Chicago fucking Bulls.
Yes. End of story. Whether people want to admit that or not, like, this is a legacy franchise. You put on that jersey, it means something. You play in front of this city, it means something. I could tell Caleb wants to be here. The way that he was talking, like, if you draft me, I'll change your franchise. He said he already knew about Slap. He was a perfect person for it. That's a guy that wants to be a Bull. I wish someone would actually say it. Like, I won't sign if it's not Chicago. But I'm praying for too much there. But we'll talk about 15 a little bit. So do you have we talked about this prior. We did not reveal to each other which players we are thinking about at 15. We completely did this blindfolded to see if we had similarities or what our differences were. So I'm going to cheat here, and I'm going to ask you first. What guys are you? We could go one for one, or you could talk about all your guys right now. I don't care.
All right, my favorite, and this Patty's been waiting for this. My favorite at number 15 for the Bulls right now, out of Baylor, Cameron Carr.
Okay.
The length on this kid, score from anywhere. He's got unlimited range. He moves off the ball really well. He's a slighter frame player, but he will take the contact. He's not afraid of it. If the finding and creating driving lanes, I'm reading some of my notes here as well. So,
no problem.
decent, like he's a decent playmaker, reads the defense, creates off the ball, takes what the defense gives him. Doesn't, from what I've seen, doesn't try to force anything with his creation.
Okay.
I mean, he's the length on this kid defensively. He's gonna. It could make him one of the best shot blocking guards in the NBA. He can get back and recover if he's beat due to that size and length. And like the heart that this kid plays with, like we see in the highlights package. Shout out to No Ceilings for their season highlight packages of all their draft prospects every year. You know, you see him taking defending bigger, stronger players, and he doesn't back down from them, and still manages to block their shots. So,
Okay.
man, I really like Cameron Carr at number 15 for the Bulls. He shares a name with a certain Port Adelaide senior coach, Josh Carr. Obviously, no relation whatsoever, but hey, Josh Carr was a tough nut in football. And
Also shares the
Cameron
last
Carr,
name with the first girl I ever kissed,
oh, hello.
Kathy Carr.
Get into a little bit of after dark with Philly the Fourth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I really like Cameron Carr at number 15. Right now, he's all right. But yeah, all right. I actually, Pads, this is what I wrote in the Discord. All right, like in our chat. So I'm reading off of that. That's where my notes are from. But no, I do like Cameron Carr at 15. He's right now my favorite prospect at 15. But who's your favorite at 15 at the moment?
So I want to make sure I underline like that at the moment, because I definitely have more work to do. Cam Carr is actually somebody that I need to do more work on. So there's a little bit of an asterisk here, but like one guy that I've studied recently that I do really, really like is Hannes Steinbach. Like, this dude is I feel like if we were to get Caleb Wilson, this would be a great player to draft to complement him. And now my crazy brain somewhat was like, now this probably couldn't happen right away, but down the road, if I liked the idea of dabbling with Matas at the 2, only because he's huge and it's like a complete problem, and he kind of plays like a shooting guard. I mean, he's the guy getting the shots up. And if you were to do something like that, you could maybe play Caleb Wilson at the 3, which I know that's not maybe natural, but I think he could do it. And then Steinbach at the 4, maybe someone else at the 5, only because Steinbach, I think that he really is a 4, but he could be. I mean, his wingspan was 7'2". Even though he was only, I think, 6'10", 6'9" or 6'10". I can't remember, one of those.
Yeah, I haven't done any research on Hans Steinbach, so
he projects to be a 4, or he could be like a small. He's 6'11". I'm sorry, so he could play center, but that's still kind of undersized in today's NBA. Like most people are starting a 7-footer. So he wasn't also like known as a great defender. He did block a shot a game, but he showed a lot of offensive versatility that I thought made him a good complement to Caleb Wilson. Like, Caleb needs work on the offensive end, right? He's more of a pro-ready player at the defensive end, even though he needs to work on some off-ball defense and stuff. He's just Caleb's so physically gifted and his intensity is so high. He's going to give you something on defense off the bat. Steinbach, I think, will be that guy who gives you something offensively right off the bat. When you do like work on him, man, his touch at the rim, he's got a feathery touch. It's really nice, soft. He almost lays it up like a guard. It's weird, or at least like a wing. He's, you know how like a lot of centers, it's just it's never pretty with them. Usually it's like very, their touches, they have a hard time putting touch on the ball, stuff like that. Like, that's not this guy. He has a very light touch at the rim. He showed some good pick and roll action at Washington. They didn't do it as much as I think they should have. But when he's attacking the rim, whether it was off like on the break or through pick and roll or when he just gets the ball, he's very good at finishing at the rim. He has his jumper was passable. He shot like 32% from three. Didn't shoot it a lot though. It was like less than 2 threes a game. So it's there. His form is all right. It's a little inconsistent, but he makes it. Like like I said, he shot 32%. Weirdly, he shot much better on contested 3-point shots than on uncontested, which is hard to explain. He shot like 40-something% contested and 20-something% uncontested from three.
Sounds like he likes to have his shot being contested. Prefers it.
Yeah. Maybe he gets in his own head. I don't know. But the best part, I mean, not the best part, but maybe the most pro-ready part of his game is he was a rebounding savant. I mean, he led the nation in rebounding at 11.8 rebounds a game, about 4 offensive rebounds a game. Dude's a nice prospect. And I like his potential. I was saying a Mara a lot at 15 for a little while, but some people did make the perhaps correct assumption. I don't know what I'm trying to think of the word. Like they made the call that like Stein or that Mara and Wilson would perhaps clog the lane too much because neither of them is really much of a shooter at this time. But Caleb Wilson isn't afraid to shoot it either.
No, he'll get out there and shoot it.
So whether or not he's making a high percentage, I guess, is a different story. But their worry is that if you draft Caleb and Mara, you clog the lane too much. I don't know if that's true. What do you think about that?
I mean, if you got 2 players that are more paint dominant, then that can be out in the perimeter, then I can understand clogging the lane a little bit too much. I mean, it almost goes back to 90s basketball where you got your center and power forward like working on opposite sides of the post. I know you talked about Hans Steinbach and his soft touch around the rim. Rob in the comments mentioned a Hartenstein type floater. Player I thought of when you talk about the soft touch around the rim with a former Chicago Bull, Nikola Vucevic. With that, because he had that soft touch around the rim.
Than him. He has more athleticism than Vuce.
Is it really that hard though?
No, not at all.
I'm probably more athletic than Nikola Vucevic, and I'm almost 40 fucking years old.
I'm just saying that he had some nice underhanded, he was coming up for layups and kind of going up but doing some up and unders and stuff and taking it light off the backboard.
Been watching the Hakeem Olajuwon a little bit, obviously.
Perhaps. He looked good. I could see him playing well with Josh Giddey. I watched him. I'm like, you could do some pick and roll with him, and I could see him operating well with him. But Mara, on the other hand, now if you were to go with Mara, he's definitely more of an offensive, he's way more raw than Steinbach. Steinbach, I think is going to score at the NBA level right away. Mara might not. I know that he has the potential to get there. He has some nice moves about his game. I've studied him a bit, but the jumper just really isn't there, much less so than Steinbach. And he's a good passer, but everything else in his offensive game just needs a little bit of work. Now, defensively, he is going to give you size. He is going to rebound for you, obviously, at 7'3", but his conditioning needs to get better. He only played 21 minutes a game or something like that, 22 minutes a game, because when he was playing at long stretches, he was getting gassed, and then he's worthless out there. I shouldn't say worthless. That's mean. But, he was much less effective once he got, gassed out there. So, he definitely needs to work on his conditioning a bit. I don't know if he's ready to start right away. If you get Mara, then I think you should be hoping that you get, Kessler in free agency.
Then you go two big boys at your center position.
You really would. 7'2" and a 7'3" center. You're not, you got size.
Oh yeah.
Do you like Mara? That is what she said. Size matters. Do you like Mara?
I do like Mara. I don't think he's going to fall to 15. To be perfectly honest with you, he would be a great pick and roll lob threat for Josh Giddey. Like, there's lobs there all day fucking long for Josh to just pop it up there and let Mara go get it, or Caleb Wilson as well. Martis, like you get a day Mara, and
this is true.
You need him when at least in his first couple of years, because obviously he's got to work on his offensive development. You just need him to come in and provide a defensive presence and rebounding, and anything he gives you offensively early in his career is a bonus.
Yeah.
So offensively, all you're really looking for him is pick and roll situations, offensive rebounds on putbacks there. You're not really looking for him to be a go-to scorer, at least earlier in his career anyway. His main role is going to be defense and rebounding for the first few years of his career. But a guy that I do, and it's probably a bit of a segue into who I do like, my second favorite player at number 15 is also a center prospect, Chris Sinak Jr. out of Houston.
Okay.
I think he's 6'10", and he has over a 7 foot wingspan. I'm not 100% certain on the wingspan of Chris Sinak Jr., but the way he plays and the way he can develop reminds me of Bam Adebayo.
7'5".
So at 6'10", 6'11", got a 7'5" wingspan. So
that's incredible.
Damn. I like Chris Sinak Jr. is another definitely high on my list of candidates at the moment for the number 15 pick. But he can get out, he can, offense. He's got a high motor. Well, I wouldn't say a high motor, but like he'll attack the rebounding. Like he's got a high motor to attack the glass. He can score in the paint, score in the mid range. He can step out and shoot the three, block shots with that length of his. I watch him play, and I see Bam Adebayo, some Bam Adebayo in this kid's game, and hey, I'm not mad at that whatsoever.
No, I gotta do homework on him. That's actually my next player that I'm supposed to study. So you like Sinak Jr. a lot?
I like Sinak Jr. I do like him. Like him and Cameron Carr right now are my number 1 and 2 for the number 15 pick.
Okay. Yeah, I know at first, and I'll admit that this was based purely on just like a glance at what had happened and what people thought. And then I was looking at mock drafts, but it was like probably 3/4 of the way through the college basketball season. So this is a while back. They were talking about top centers in the draft, and I was like, I kind of like Googled it, like who's thought of as the top center. And the name that I first got was Jaden Quintance. And I looked up his stats, and I seen that like last year, not this year, but last year, he averaged like 2.6 blocks a game and was dominant defensively. But then he tore his ACL, and then this year he came back, but he didn't really come back. He definitely wasn't the same. He played like 4 games and then sat down for the rest of the season. Cause I'm ideally probably because he wanted to be healthy for the draft. But I've seen people say like when healthy, that he's the best center on defensively in the draft. But he's similar to Sinak. Actually, he's like 6'10", has like a 7'5" wingspan, or at least that's what I think. But like, he also has no offensive game though. That's the other thing. He has no shot. From what I understand, he just doesn't provide you anything offensively. It's all defense, and then you also got the injury concern there. So I'm probably off of him now. Do you have any Jaden Quintance feelings?
Man, I haven't. I'll be completely transparent. I haven't watched any of Jaden Quintance, whatever, however you say his name. but I haven't watched any tape of his whatsoever. But hearing that he's obviously has already torn his ACL and he's still had some issues with it since, like with all this swelling, apparently, I think was the issue that he kept having. It does make me nervous to draft a kid that has already torn his ACL and is continued to have issues, like lingering problems with that knee. So yeah, I'm not high on JQ just because of that, simply because of the knee issue.
That's fair. Yeah, I almost wish that we had like an end of first round pick. If he somehow fell to 38, I'd run to the podium and take him. But there's no way that's going to happen.
Based on what you're saying, what I've seen Hayes say and others say about him, if he somehow falls to pick 38, you're committing highway robbery.
Yeah. Oh, he would only fall there. Like, I will say that his lack of offensive game is real. Like, he doesn't provide you anything on that end. So, like, right now he's like a Ben Wallace type where you're just like hoping that he is going to kill the game defensively and hopefully you could develop him on offense. But at Kentucky, he didn't show that. I think he averaged single-digit points. So, like,
was Patty saying, think about Andre Drummond?
I mean, that's not a. I mean, if you maybe want better than that at 15, but then again, like Drummond's had a hell of a career. He's got over 10,000 rebounds.
He was an all-star center until, was it injuries? Did he have an injury? I can't quite remember what started the downfall of Andre's career, but he may be injury related.
Probably. But even then, he still kept his bounce. He still rebounds the hell out of the ball. He's got over 10,000 rebounds, and that's hard to do.
He's still averaging double-digit boards off the bench.
Yeah, he's incredible per minute. Yeah, Quintance. So he measured at the combine. He's only 6'9", but he's got a 7'5" 0.25 wingspan. So he's crazy. His standing reach is 9'1". He's long as fuck. But so Quintance is a true, like, if you could get the most out of him, he might walk away out of this as the best center. But can you get that? And will he stay healthy? It scares me when a center's already torn their ACL and they're not even in the NBA yet, because it doesn't get easier to be that big.
and just like quickly going back to Chris Sinak Jr., just because you saying about the standing reach and stuff, maybe want to go back and look at Sinak Jr.'s. So yeah, it's 6'10" 1/4, weighs just under 240 pounds, 7'5" wingspan, and a standing reach of just over 9 feet.
Yeah, I mean, and if Sinak gives you more offensively, or he projects, I don't know what he averaged in the college game, but I mean, he's the same type of physical profile. So, like,
and a 41.5-inch standing vertical.
It's wild.
Kid can get up.
Yeah. I can see why, you say Bam Adebayo, and that does sound like him. So there's definitely a lot of options here. I wonder if the Bulls, there's probably no way that, I don't think anybody in this draft is going to be excited to trade out of the first round. Like, it's such a deep draft. I wish that there was a world in which we could package 38 and 56 and get back into the first at the end. I don't know if I'd go double center. I wouldn't be too mad about it. We need an overhaul in the front court like we need water. And so that's why I like the idea of going with like Wilson and a center, because boom, just like that, you've overhauled your front court. You got, Matas at the 3, you've got Giddey at the 1. Now you're just you need some shooting and some defense at guard, and you're cooking something real nice. That's the other reason why, going back a lot, Peterson's a way better choice for the Bulls than Acuff, because Peterson's a good defender. I know Acuff maybe got a bad rap from, Noah, but I know that Peterson right now is a better defender than Acuff, and that makes him, whoever we put next to Giddey, ideally needs to be a good shooter and a good defender.
Yeah.
Giddy's already a good shooter, but you want as many good shooters around Giddy as possible.
And that's just modern basketball. Like
Yes.
it's for all players. Even you want, Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time. Guess where you want surround him with? Shooters. Like
Yes.
that's just the way the game is played these days.
I wish that, he probably would cost too much. It probably doesn't make sense. And you probably couldn't get him because he'd probably want to win now. He's like one of these win now players that it would be hard for the Bulls to get to sign on the dotted line. But like Dort's an unrestricted free agent this offseason. It's like, damn, he'd be nice. He'd be so nice defensively. He's so good.
Yeah. He's a monster.
Yes. Like I imagine him coming off the bench. You probably want to start more of a dynamic scoring guard next to Giddy, but Dort off the bench would be sick. It'd be so nice. Don't know if probably won't be able to get him, but I just know he's out there.
He will stay in Oklahoma.
The only reason that I feel like, or that they're saying that might not happen, is only because of all like the apron. But
yeah,
I imagine that he means too much to them. They probably give up something. They probably trade someone else to keep him, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think things in Oklahoma City are going to get very interesting soon because like all the max and supermax contracts they're handing out, they're not going to be able to keep all these players. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle the salary cap situation and going into like the second tax apron and what they do to keep that team together to keep competing for championships for the next 5+ years.
Absolutely. I'm going to throw another name at you that's going to be a free agent this offseason. You tell me what you think. What about, he kind of fits Slap, Kelly Oubre Jr.?
As an off-the-bench piece, yeah. If you get him at a decent price, sure. And that's just me saying that off of the very limited I've seen of him because, to be perfectly frank, no, I didn't watch any of the playoffs. Like I may have had it on my TV while I'm doing other stuff and looked at the game every now and then, but I haven't sat down and watched, like focused on any of the players because frankly, I just don't care because the Bulls aren't part of it. But yeah, Kelly Oubre Jr.
Only because his measurements, like I don't know so I was shocked when I looked him up, and the book on him used to be that he can't shoot for shit. Like before this season, he was only shooting like 30%, but this year he got up to 36% from downtown. The thing with him is he plays small forward. But he could technically play the 2 guard for you, maybe, especially if he's shooting 36% from 3. But where he's nice is that he's 6'8", and he has a wingspan of 7'2", and so
he slaps.
He slaps. So could you get him and maybe put him at the 2? I mean, obviously, again, you'd probably want someone more dynamic, but if you got Oubre off the bench, he's just another guy out there. We need shooting, and like I look at all the guards that are going to be out there off the bench pieces like Luke Kennard. Can you get him maybe?
I like Luke. I mean, you got a couple of guys in the comments mentioning Quentin Grimes.
Yeah, Grimes is out there. I think that's a great. Like I think I tweeted that. He'd be worth talk to him, see what's up. I know that guy from Denver, Peyton Watson. It's another guy.
Yep.
Talk to, see what's up. The Bulls got cap room, especially if they don't end up getting one of these big fish. If they don't end up with getting, if they're not able to get a Walker Kessler or a Jalen Darryn, you're gonna have a lot of cap room there. You should definitely make sure you get at least like two or three really nice role players that you could see yourself winning with. I know that maybe I know some people would say like, well, we're not trying to win next year, and you'd be right, but you still want to get them under you're trying to get there. It's not all going to happen magically in one offseason.
Yeah, like you've got to build a contender. Like it doesn't just Rome wasn't built in a day. So
yeah,
You know, it's a slow process. It's one that obviously, you know, the previous front office, you know, tried to skip, but you know,
No.
that's what happens when
Yeah.
you don't lay out. That's what happens when you don't lay the foundations correctly.
Yeah, and that's where you got to do if you're the Bulls. You got to sell these free agents on. Look, I know that it's not going to happen for us next year, but you're not signing with us for next year. You're signing with us for 2 or 3 years from now, and
Yeah.
that's when it'll be go time. Like you're signing with us to be a part of where we're going, but you got to be. You want to keep it real with them too, though, and like you let them know like this is a process. But I think it could turn around faster than people think. It's all, especially getting into the playoffs. Like that's not really that hard, especially in the East, to make it in. I know it's been hard for us, but like you don't have to get that much better to compete for, the back end of the playoffs. If you make smart signings in free agency, like let's say, I mean, if you could get Kessler and then sign someone like maybe I don't know how much he'll want, but if you can get Grimes for like the mid-level exception or something like that, if you could talk to an IO, I don't know if IO will come back. I mean, you've got $68 million that you could spend without being over the cap at all. And then
So I'd be looking at potentially 30 million on Walker Kessler, potentially. Get what
shit,
what
man,
would Io want? Io would probably want 20 plus.
20, 25 if you wanted to really pry him away. You could
So
probably get both
almost
of them.
there's the salary cap gone there.
Yeah, and would you do that? Would that be okay to you? I think I would. I mean, that means you have to go cheap. You can still do the mid-level exception, which I think is 12 million a year, and that doesn't factor into your salary cap. Or it's like its own thing. It doesn't put you over. But like, I mean,
that's like true color. Like that's like legit cap space. That's not under the luxury tax. So I
right.
think once you sign a couple of guys, if only Hayes was here, he could give us more intel because I know he's a big cap guy. But I think maybe once you actually get up to or up and over the salary cap with your free agency spending, then you can start looking at using your exceptions. I mean, I'm not sure how that necessarily works, especially with the mid-level exception. I think that only really applies to teams that. Well,
I think you can use it.
I don't know how. I'm not going to pretend to know how that works.
I'm pretty sure that you could use it. Like anyone could use it. It's just, and there's a limit to it. I think it's 12 million a year. I can't remember exactly how much right now, but it basically operates like you. I'm not sure if it might have to be a 1-year deal. I can't remember. But basically that you could sign that player to a mid-level exception, and it won't put you like over the cap. Like you won't be going against the apron or anything like that. Because I know the mid-level exception is how teams like the Miami Heat, like when they had the Heatles, they used the mid-level exception on fucking Ray Allen. So they weren't, obviously Ray Allen took a pay cut to do that, but there's other way that, that's how you can sign players without killing yourself cap-wise. And I think if the Bulls can get if you get Kessler and Io, and let's say you draft Caleb Wilson and Cam Carr, I mean,
that's my dream draft right now.
You're putting together a pretty fucking good team. You got, so your starting lineup would be what? Giddey, Io, Matas, Caleb Wilson, Kessler. And then off the bench, you've got Carr, Noah Essengay, Leonard Miller, Trey Jones, Jalen Smith. It's not bad.
It's not. That's pretty good to build with. Absolutely.
Yeah, and if your young guys all take a step, you're looking at something really good, man. It could. I mean, could see yourself into play-in next year. That definitely wouldn't be out of the question for that team. So it'd be fun.
Quickly speaking of young Joshua James Giddey.
Here. So yeah, they need to be over the cap to use a full mid-level exception. It's 14 mil a year. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, speaking of young Joshua James Giddey, that surprise news that came out through the week that he had undergone arthroscopy ankle surgery. I mean, I found that as a surprise, considering that he was, back in Melbourne, beginning his workouts, and by putting up, I put up videos or a video on Twitter to say, hey, Josh Giddey's back in the lab, and the fucking black hole was copping for that one. It's like, oh, this doesn't show, oh, this is this, that, and it's like, it's a fucking 15 or 12-second video. What were you expecting to see? But someone said to me, well, why'd you put it up at all? I'm like, so people can see he's back working on his game. But then we find out what the next day or 2 days later, he's gone surgery on his ankle and he's out for the next 3 months.
Yeah. It's not a major surgery though, right? I mean, it's considered to be minor.
Yeah, I think it's just a clean up in his ankle because obviously, like, it's the same ankle he tore the ATFL in the last game of the very last play of the Olympics of the off season that we traded for him. I mean, it's the same ankle he rolled when he got ankle broken by DeAndre Hunter. He has rolled that same ankle a couple of times now. So obviously, I think, and one thing I forgot to mention one thing I forgot to say on a whole lot of ball when I talked about it there is that obviously they thought that maybe a bit of rest after the off season would fix any lingering issues that was in his ankle. And then he's obviously gotten back to Melbourne and he's started his off season workouts and then felt something wasn't right. That's what I'm thinking has happened, because if you knew something was wrong, a month ago or 2 months ago that was going to require surgery, then why didn't you do it back then? Because now he's losing 3 months of his off-season workouts.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Did they reported that he knew this for how long?
Well, they haven't reported they knew how long. That's me questioning it. Like, okay. I'm asking the question: how long did they know about this? Like, or was it this? I'm just purely speculating about when they knew about this. But like, I'm just thinking, were they waiting? Was Josh waiting to see would a bit of rest just fix his ankle up, and like whatever was wrong with his ankle just needed time off and rest? And then he's come back and started his workouts and felt something's still not right. Therefore, he's made the decision to go get surgery. Because if they knew about this, if this was still an issue that they needed surgery like a month or so ago, why didn't you do it then when you knew, if you knew back then? So that's all I'm saying on that one.
Yeah, I'd hope that Josh, I would hope that it's all on the up and up. I don't think that he's like, if he knew that he needed to get surgery, I think he would have gotten it. Like Josh seems like he's somebody of like high character. I don't think he's trying to, skip out on anything or like, I don't know, mess up or like, I don't know, like put off surgery on purpose or anything. Like, I don't think there's any of that going on.
No, definitely not. I don't think Josh is that type of person where he's, no, I'm not going to fuck up my summer like Scottie Pippen.
I'm glad Lewis here feels this way. There's a lot of people that want to get rid of him right now, and I just don't understand it. I want to see him go to the playoffs here and have a good, even if we don't obviously win a championship, I want to see him have a good series. Just like, because that would put to bed so many of these people out here that say that he can't play in the playoffs. There's just so many narratives about Josh that are so old. People are still basing their opinions off of him from something that happened 3 years ago when he was like 20. Like, dude, he's involved as a player so much.
Yeah, his game has developed so much since that playoff series in Oklahoma against Dallas, and people still want to judge him off of the allegations about the underage girl. It's like, as much as they don't want to like say it, that's what like where all their hate is really stemming from.
Yeah, I think for some people that's true. And it's stupid because I guarantee you that those are like I think the FBI investigated it. Like, if you don't think they wanted to nail Josh Giddey to the wall on that, then you're crazy. They would have loved to make an example out of him. They would have loved to. It was a high profile case. There's no way he would have walked away with no charges if he was guilty at all.
Yeah, absolutely. If he was guilty, he would have been found guilty. Simple as that.
It doesn't mean it didn't happen. It means that like there's reasons why that happened that don't have to include that Josh knew about this shit. Like, he was duped. He was duped.
Yeah.
This girl, it's pretty clear to me. She wanted to bang a star and she lied. That's just what happened.
Apparently she's notorious for it. So, but yeah, like in terms of his development of his game, like, yeah, okay, yeah, he had a bad series against the Dallas Mavericks where they were leaving him open and Darren was shooting and he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He's developed that 3-point shot and now it's to the point where he has to be respected, like, well, somewhat respected from beyond the arc now. Like, I know some teams are still going to dare him to shoot, and hey, right now it's okay. Dare him to shoot at your own peril, because he's becoming a solid 3-point shooter now, and like he can make you pay for it.
Yeah, I always love it when Kobe White fans tell me that he can't shoot. I'm like, oh yeah, he shot higher percentage than Kobe White the last 2 seasons.
Yeah,
just saying.
Like, so, but hey, he's not like fine at this point. He's not a shot creator. I mean, he's not, but he can shoot the ball. Now, just because it's mostly in catch and shoot situations, doesn't mean he's not a good shooter.
Facts. But all right, brother. I don't want to keep the people any longer. We've been here for a while. I did have one thing up here. What number will Caleb or Cam wear? Honestly, have no idea. 69.
Well, Caleb Wilson, let's just keep rolling with his North Carolina number 8. I know they might upset some Zach LaVine fans if Caleb Wilson wears number 8.
He did not do anything to reserve a number.
Nah. But as far as Cam Boozer, well, it'd be interesting. Like, at the end of the day, what number these players wear, it doesn't matter. Like, let's just be frank, it doesn't matter what number they wear.
But it will be interesting to
see but if Cam Boozer does get picked up by the Bulls, it would be interesting to see if he does wear number 5 like his old man did in Chicago, or does he stick to his Duke number 12?
He should wear 5. It'd be cool if he wore the same jersey. Also, he's got a no, that's fair, Rob. I know some people really care about that. Some people really care about the numbers that these players pick. Like I know some people think that like that certain numbers have aura. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Players have stories behind that, why they wear certain numbers. And like, okay, Lockie Ulbrich wearing number 47 is because it's that number just popped up everywhere in his family. Like, that's why he wears 47, because it's a family thing. For sure. Just last comment here. I see Morris Johnson's the other player I would wish Chicago take seriously. I've looked up. I have to do more work on Morris Johnson. I have looked at some stuff. I will say this: I wouldn't mind him at all. I think he's definitely got some pro ready aspects about him. The thing is I don't think he's a good fit if you get Boozer or Wilson, because I feel like you're drafting right at the same position. You're drafting someone that's going to have to be their backup instead of someone that could ever play alongside them. That's my only concern. Unless you're okay with Caleb Wilson or Cam Boozer playing center. I'm not. I'd prefer that they played power forward. Power forward. Which is what I think Morris Johnson is as well. That's my only thing. Now, if you get Darryn Peterson, I'm super down to get Morris Johnson at 15, at least from what I've seen so far. He's like pro ready. He's got a pro ready body. He's super active. He's got some nice things about his game.
I think he could be a two-way player. But yeah, I just don't want to pair him with either Wilson or Boozer if that's who we get. That's my thoughts on that.
Yeah. No, I think, you get Caleb or Wilson or Boozer at number 4. That's why I like, the likes of Cameron Carr, who would be a 2 guard for you, or Chris Nack Jr. or Adair Mara, who will be your 5.
It is true that he was talking about switchability, but I still think you have to have some size at center. It's okay to have a lineup like you. I'll say that you could draft a backup at 5 or at 15 if they're going to get a lot of minutes for you. That's still as good as if they're like a 6-man type, that does work, and you can have a small ball lineup, but you still have to have like a starting lineup to me that has size at the 5, or you're going to suffer in matchups. Like we watched last year how bad we got beat on the boards. Offensive rebounding was a big problem for us at times. So I worry about leaving too much size off the court. That's all.
Absolutely.
But he says run Morris at power forward and Caleb at small forward, but Matas has to be. What are you going to run Matas at the 2? I mean, I don't hate that. I'm crazy.
I like Matas at the 3.
Yeah, I think Matas' natural position is the 3. I do like Morris though. It's nothing against him. But yeah. All right, my friends. I appreciate everybody in the comments. Really love how active you guys are. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Good turnout today. Thank you for everybody who came to watch. Super appreciated. If you're here on X, please do consider following at Borderless Bulls on X, and also coming over to YouTube and dropping a like on the video, dropping a sub for your boys. We really, really, really would appreciate a sub. We're definitely trying to grow. We're close to 300 subscribers, but we get way more views than that every week. So we need you to subscribe, because I think a lot of people are watching, but some people aren't subbing. So if you love us, please sub. But
and go support our own individual content as well, like Philly on Chicago Bulls Breeze, Phil and Neil on the 6 banner. Obviously, everyone knows Hayes on Chicago Bulls Central, and there's my little podcast at a whole lot of ball. Obviously subscribe to Bulls Without Borders, but go support our own individual channels as well.
Yes, please. And coming up, I know that next week I think we'll have Hayes back. Obviously, we'll have Neil. And then hopefully coming up soon, we'll have Stacey King. He did agree on X to come and be on one of our shows. We're really excited about that. He was a dream guest for us this whole time. So really hope we're trying to. He said to give him dates, and we gave him some dates. We're definitely gonna keep touching base with him, and hopefully we could have him on. It would be a true honor, and we'll keep you guys updated as to the status of that if and when we're able to, lock in some dates. So
and then at some point soon, but I think prior to the draft, we're going to have our boy Paddy on to do a pre-draft special. He's going to bring his own big board to the show, so it'd be good to have Pads back on again as well.
Hell yeah. All right, my friends. Oh, Lord, says Rob.
Make sure we hot sauce.
All right, everybody. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe, and see red, everybody.